Awesome to have you here today. My name's John. I'm the owner and founder here at 5x5. This person to my left, the screen's right. Her name is Carla. She is the CEO here at 5x5. My name is John. I'm the founder here at 5x5. 17 years in January. I don't like to do a lot of self-promotion.
John, can I please do your intro? Because I feel like you're not going to do it justice.
All right.
So here we go. All right, here we have John Hollenberg, owner and founder of 5x5. He actually took out Young Entrepreneur of the Year here in the Gold Coast last year for marketing category, which is pretty awesome, and we're very, very stoked to get that that acknowledgement. Like John said, been in the industry for 17 years. We call him head coach. So we're a team of 43, actually 45 as of today. We've got two new team that started with us. Very exciting. Awesome. So John's role is really just head coach and, our number one supporter. And John's actually personally delivered over 500 of our digital solutions to clients, including the big guns like Porsche, Jeep, recently Coral Homes. So obviously been in the industry a while and got a wealth and breadth of experience. So that's John, and that's the intro that he deserves.
That was an amazing runway. Now I will return the favor. Carla, she is our CEO. Anyone who has met Carla, she is not big in stature, but she is certainly big in will, determination, and getting things done, which is a big part of the intention for this catch up, talking about that. So Carla's our CEO. She actually started as a project manager. She progressed through the ranks and is just an amazing individual, just has this awesome way of being able to influence people. She's very determined, and we're going to pick her brain today. So what we're talking about, Carla, we're gonna make some predictions and then how we can implement these in our business. What else are we going to talk about?
Exactly what you did the intro on me on how essentially we get stuff done. So anyone who's across 5x5, where very quick implement is. And so we're just going to unpack that a little bit in terms of our framework or our process that we go through from sort of identifying that something needs to be done to putting the plan in place, actually doing it, and then obviously that reflection part as well. And then lastly, we're going to just unpack a little bit on how you can actually identify gaps and opportunities in your market. So that's really been a huge focus for us the tail end of this year. We're always about innovating and evolving. And so we're just going to kind of, talk a little bit about that in our business and then what we're obviously getting up to in 2023 as a result.
So Carla, reflecting on the year that was 2022, probably, when going through this exercise, and feel free to chime in at any point, the number one thing was we maybe got a little bit complacent. So we had performed really well from a search engine optimization perspective. So this is where we're generating a lot of our leads in the local market here in the Gold Coast, here in Queensland. Always sitting number one position for a bunch of different sort of keyword phrases related to our services. We were then got really busy in terms of implementation for our clients, and what we basically did was probably took our eyes off the ball a little bit. New players came in and we got bumped. We got relegated for a bunch of keywords. And then that was basically because we hadn't reinvested, we hadn't spent the time. So as a result, then what we did was we doubled down. We treated ourselves as a client. So you were instrumental in this. You're like, all right, 5x5, the business is now a client. So we onboarded ourselves. We set ourselves up in the system that we'd set any of our clients up in, and treated ourselves as a client. We had monthly meetings. The SEO team provide reporting to us, the leadership team, all that sort of stuff. And really, it was just around the power of someone else, i.e. the team, focusing on this rather than me driving these initiatives all the time. Would you add anything else to that, Carla?
No, I think it sort of transcends a little bit as well, just from our SEO strategy. But I think it can reflect in a lot of different areas. So, the areas that you think are going well and you don't need to worry about anymore, and you kind of just, I guess, let fall at the wayside, probably isn't a great strategy, because at some point you're going to have to sort of jump back in and, get the momentum going. So, I guess the reflection for me as well was the importance of having somebody else on top of this for us. So you said that, we got our own internal SEO team to actually treat us like a client. So instead of it being you or me having to think about it or do the work, it was cool to have, or it is cool to have somebody else sort of hold us accountable to what we sort of setting out to achieve. So yeah, work doesn't stop when you hit number one.
Sure doesn't. So then reflection 2, and this is an extension of that, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So we were quite reliant from an SEO perspective to be able to generate leads and new work and keep people saying yes. And obviously SEO was a primary source of that traffic and leads. So we took a step back. We realized we actually needed to diversify that sort of lead flow. We were actually running our own Google ads. So from paid ads perspective, probably not doing it that well. Partnered up with an agency, like that is their sole focus, just to run paid ads, social ads, all that sort of stuff. Got it done professionally, got the campaigns reconfigured, worked in with them, took their advice, and as a result, didn't dramatically increase the budget, but it was like a 2x result in terms of conversions and all that sort of stuff. Your thoughts on that, Carla?
What this sort of allowed us to do as well is to sort of flatten out the ebbs and the flows that we may or may not get from one traffic source. So as an example, by nature, SEO will go up and will go down depending on what people are searching, time of year, et cetera, et cetera. And so, typically our leads could do the same thing. You could get a bunch of leads because everyone's searching what you have, and then it sort of drops out the next month. And that sort of up and down isn't great when it comes to, wanting to scale a business or keeping your sales team happy. So what the multi-channel, I guess, approach has allowed us to do is kind of smooth out that lead generation in the business. So some months might be great from an ads perspective and a little bit slower on SEO, and then it might switch. So they really kind of work together rather than sort of comparing ads against SEO. It really is sort of like a dream team, I guess.
Reflection 3, consistency is a key. So like I like to think, if someone says, John, what's your superpower? It's like highly unglamorous. It's just like consistency. So that's why I go and do marathons and random stuff like that, and been in business for 17 years, and that's pretty slow in the scheme of things, considering you see other people and they're like high growth, high trajectory, all that sort of stuff. But it's just like keep showing up, keep chipping away. Every day is a new opportunity, and all you need to do is like one thing every single day. You do that consistently over the year, you have made 365 meaningful actions, hopefully in the forwards direction. There's going to be some oops in there and all that sort of stuff, but as long as you're consistent there, the net result from the start of the year to the end of the year should be profound. Any other words of wisdom there, Carla?
The only thing I would add into that is also just enjoying the process as well. So I don't know if it's a generational thing or what the go is with scrolling socials, but I guess sometimes we can get into the trap of sort of wanting those instant results, and when we don't get that, we get pretty deflated. But the consistency is key, is probably the biggest takeaway for me. It's those things that we were doing day in, day out, sort of showing up every day and being consistent with the efforts. Now we're smiling, right? Because we allowed the time for it to sort of grow, and we're reaping the benefits. So although it might not feel like you're winning when you get started, it's sort of that tail end approach that we're looking for.
We're going to move into a bit of like crystal ball action, Carla. What's our focus? So 5x5.
Our focus focus, coinciding with a lot of the learnings from that reflection process, is really leveraging new innovations to stay ahead of the game when it comes to SEO. So like all things digital, technology changes quickly and really, really quickly at the moment. So really what our focus on and our prediction as well for 2023 is all of the, I guess, innovation, for lack of a better word, that's coming out at the moment. So we've got things like machine learning and AI, leveraging that technology to really amplify the work that we currently do for not only our own SEO clients, but for us as well. So we can, like it says there, write pretty much 1,000-word blog in less than 5 minutes for free, depending on the account that you've got. And that will get us to 80% of what a good quality blog article actually looks like. And then really that 20% is where the magic happens, with our team coming in and doing all the optimization, doing the sprinkle, right? Because you can put out content day in, day out, but if it's not optimized and it's not geared towards the search phrase as well, it's not going to do a lot. So you can lean on machine learning or AI generally up to a certain point, but then there does need to be that human intervention, applying that sprinkle or that magic that we're known for. So there's that, local SEO becoming more important than ever. I don't know about you, but especially on the weekends when I'm looking for a cool new cafe, let's say Palm Beach side, I'll just literally type in Palm Beach Cafe. And then in the like the Google My Business pack, you'll sort of have 3 or 4 suggestions. That's where I live for a lot of the instant sort of search results that I want. Yeah. And so that's kind of where, I'll find a lot of the cafes, or if I'm looking for a dentist, I'll sort of rely on the Google Map pack to give me a lot of the answers that I want. So although, it's SEO, it's not on your website per se, but local SEO plays a really big part, not only in search terms, but also sort of powering that conversion. So when we're working with a client, especially a local based business, their website SEO is one thing, but then how they perform locally is like another ball game that we really sort of focus on. And that leads into sort of the Google 0-click pages, same thing. People want an answer really quickly, something I alluded to earlier. They want the result now. And so if you're leveraging those SERP results, obviously that's a way that you can stay ahead of the game, and that is becoming more and more important for businesses to prioritize. Voice search optimization. So I use Siri quite a lot. Actually, it's just gone off on my phone as I say Siri. And the same thing, you might say, hey Siri, what is a cafe close to me, right? And it will pick that up and obviously give you those search results. So making sure that all of our SEO or content is optimized for voice search optimization as well. Again, in 2023, I think like this is going to be where players in the space can really kind of leverage this technology and start kind of climbing the ranks there. And then generally, this is our bread and butter, fast loading, page speed, and responsive design. So you can do all this other stuff, but if your base being your website, loads really, really slow, terrible user experience, that's kind of like the other parts of the coin that you need to make sure that you're sort of exactly right. You can push people to your site, but they need to convert. So while we're on the subject of awesome websites, this is a good little cross section.
Well, and so this is sort of tied into us eating our own dog food, and it's sort of like we've got a site that generally converts well, right? So it's like, oh, it's really scary, like updating our website. How do we evolve it? How do we make sure that it doesn't affect our SEO? How do we make sure it still converts? All this sort of stuff. So this is where we're at. This is a little sneak peek of our new website, and we're still making a few little enhancements of it. It is an evolution. We're going to put it out to the world. We're going to see how it converts in January. But just wanted to sort of give you a little insight into maybe some of like more of the design trends. Design is very personal. You may love it, you may hate it. going deep into case studies as well. That's really like people care about the results. That's all they care about is the outcome. So just trying to find this balance between where we want to evolve to, known as like a performance-based search agency, but then still staying true to our roots, which is basically, we come from a web design development background, right? So it's like, how can we find that balance where we can still do both and then pivot and evolve? So that's definitely a big focus for 2023.
And obviously the new site is obviously geared towards all of those predictions that we have in terms of the innovations happening in the space. So, even us, which is our core bread and butter, is building sites and doing SEO. Like, we're still learning, we're testing it out on ourselves, taking all the learnings and then applying that to our clients. So it's pretty cool to see that journey.
And then big part of this, like retargeting, and we actually did, we co-hosted a webinar with Saxon, sort of giving the analogy that digital marketing is like a game of soccer. You've got these different players. So you've got SEO, you've got paid ads, you've got retargeting, you've got social ads, social organic, and they're all like passing the ball to each other. And then one of them is going to score the goal, but they were all instrumental in terms of the assist and doing that. And retargeting is just just a powerful way of staying front of mind. Carly, you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, so typically retargeting is or lives in the ecosystem of lead gen. So it's a very cheap way to, I guess, fill the top funnel when it comes to lead gen. But for us, where we found not the most success, but where we've actually found success that we didn't realize had so much potential, was around affordable recruitment. So the last three hires that we've actually done, we've put out ads through retargeting, and the reason for that is obviously with retargeting you can kind of set the demographics that you're searching for, so you can be quite prescriptive on who you actually want to show the ad to, and then that allows us to get in front of the people that we really want to start targeting for said specific roles. So with the help of Sax and his team, we've been able to utilize the tool that is retargeting to help us with affordable recruitment. I'm not sure other business owners on the webinar might understand, sort of the struggle that we had about 6 months ago when it came to recruiting. It was quite hard to find good talent. And so that kind of forced us to start thinking outside of the box. Well, how can we get in front of these people and get them, aware of us and aware of the opportunities around recruitment that we have? So that's kind of been like the main aspect that we found a lot of success in. And then obviously using retargeting for its true purpose, which is top funnel lead gen. So putting together guides and checklists and valuable opt-ins that we can obviously target people that have visited our site or lookalike audiences, get in front of them and almost entice them, I guess, to learn more about us and opt in to our assets. So those are a few of the live ads that we have out in the world that you might see in the next few days. So it's just a really, really affordable tool to use, not only for lead gen, but then other aspects of the business as well.
So this slide here is about data capture and personalized data capture. So we implemented a quiz sort of middle of this year. Just want to talk us through this process, Carla.
Unfortunately, gone are the days where people get really, really excited about a random pop-up that shows on screen when you click into a new website, and they usually say something like, join our newsletter. Can we have your name, your phone number, and your email? And we're sort of at the point where people aren't going to exchange their personal information for something that they don't really find as valuable, right? So I think personalization in 2023 is going to be a huge thing, and something that is actually quite relatively easy to implement in your current sort of workflow or your current marketing process. And it's all about getting personalized data from your users, let's say website, in exchange for something of value to them. So the easiest way to kind of do this is just by asking a series of get to know you questions that you would probably ask your customers or your prospects anyway, to be able to give them a solution that you offer. And so it's kind of removing that conversation over the phone with one of your salespeople, and instead having a form on your website, or a quiz, or some sort of opt-in that sort of does that process for you, and then in return they get something of value. And you can go a step further by putting in some logic like we have here with our digital strategy scorecard. We essentially ask 25 questions about a company's digital marketing activity or presence. And in return, we actually rate that against benchmarks that we have set. So we'll ask you questions about your actual strategy, your logo, your branding, your visuals like photo, video, the content, your actual website itself, your search optimization campaign. And depending on what you answer, there's a bit of logic that happens in the back end. And then at the end, it spits out, you can see there on the right-hand side, that digital strategy scorecard, a PDF with customized replies, I guess, to the answers that you had given. So right off the bat, you see a score, might be 20% or 60% or 100% if you're nailing it. And then depending on the score, actually be some action items that you can go away and implement right away. Super, super valuable for our prospects or our visitors, and then super, super valuable for us, because that allows us to have a way better conversation with that individual, sort of having a bit more background.
Talk to us about this and how we've applied this to our marketing.
So this is all around, I guess, that mindset that I was talking about earlier at the start of fast implementation. So really what we've learned to wrap up 2022 and what we're taking into the new year is that no one is self-sufficient, but really everyone relies on others. And that's been so, so true in every aspect of our business. So for the aspect of or for the purpose of the next few drawings, which I'm very proud of, by the way. These are hand-drawn by yours truly.
The resemblance is uncanny, Carla. The long arms, the long legs, I very much appreciate that.
On point.
Yeah, and like this shape here is very much like a bottle, and I seem to be standing at the neck of that bottle, and have been a bottleneck for a long time. I'm assuming that's what you were referring to there.
That is exactly it. So for all intents and purposes, we're talking about our marketing department, just because that's where we've done a lot of the work and a lot of the reflection on, and what we're working a lot on in the new year. Is you can see here by this beautifully illustrated diagram, like John said, there was sort of one person that was a bottleneck for our marketing. And so anything to do marketing, it had to come through to John. John then had to deal with it before it was then sort of actioned or something was done about it. So we had the great idea of, hey, let's hire a marketing manager, right? Because that's going to solve our problem. So all that happened is John's going, this is great, stuff's happening, I don't have to be the blockage, stuff's getting done. But really what happened is all of that responsibility, all of that, stuff just got transferred to our beautiful marketing manager, Gabby, and she's trying to, juggle all the balls and do all the stuff. And really she just became the bottleneck in her own right, in terms of we can't expect one person to do it all, to be self-sufficient. So what we have then done is used a framework that I'm going to share with you next, to kind of understand how you can still get stuff done, as in how can you start actioning more without you, as in you being the business owner or the marketing manager, whatever the case, without getting sucked into the actual implementation of that. Because I'm sure you've got a lot that you've got going on, and then adding one more thing to your plate is probably not what you want. So what we do is we use this framework to really kind of fast track any new idea that we want to implement in the business. And it all starts by understanding what do we want to achieve? What is this thing that we're trying to do? For instance, let's say we want to do an SEO strategy, right? We then go, okay, cool. Well, why do we want to do that SEO strategy? What's the intent of this campaign? Well, really, it's to increase our leads and inquiries. And then we go, yep, cool, awesome. When do we need to have this implemented? As in, when are we going to be doing this thing? Let's say, we're going to give ourselves 6 months to get X amount of leads and inquiries per month from SEO. Now, this is the key part.
Oh.
Who?
So you're saying I shouldn't be doing this, Carla?
Probably not. No.
Okay. All right.
So the next question we need to answer is, who's the best person to do it? And a lot of the time, it's actually not the person that came up with the idea or sort of identifying the gap or the blockage or the challenge. Instead, we need to find who is the best person to do what I need, why we need to get it done, and by when. And they are the person that figures out the how, right? It's not your job to figure out how we're going to do it. It's your job as the business owner or the manager or whatever to figure out who's the best person or agency or partner or supplier to essentially help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. And then it's up to them to figure out the how. Because that's where we come unstuck, right? People try and figure out the how, try everything, achieve nothing. Instead, what we've learned is leverage those that do what they do really, really well. Yep. And so what that's allowed us to then go to is a diagram that looks like so, where you've got John, he's happy. He's not physically the one having to do everything. You've got Gabby, our marketing manager, who is still living life, doing all things marketing. But really what her role is now is more of a conductor. It's more of managing or coaching the suppliers or the team underneath that are responsible for their own area. So, we've got a ads supplier, we've got our SEO internal team that do what they do best. We've got a videographer and a photographer for when we need to get assets created. We have a video editing partner who does all of our post webinar and post production work. And then we have a team of copywriters as well who actually physically write the content that we need. If we ask Gabby to try and do all of that, she's going to probably do, 5% of each of those areas. Yeah. And it's just not fair on her either. So that's how we can kind of, open that bottleneck and allow things to come in and things to happen a lot quicker without getting sucked into the day to day.
When I had the pleasure of November 2019, went to Africa, spent a week with Richard Branson, and his number one word of advice or piece of advice in terms of how he has got done what he has got done in this lifetime, he said, become a hooer. Just find out who's going to do the stuff. Find just amazing people to do that. And that's his sole purpose in life, is to become a hooer.
I was going to write what the key takeaways were, but something I've learned from you is the quality of an answer usually depends on the quality of the question. So instead of saying, hey, this is what you should have got from this webinar, instead of just posed a few questions that maybe you can read and reflect on and see what sort of comes up for you. So, that being, are you relying on one source for your leads? If so, what would actually happen if that lead source just dried up tomorrow? What would happen in your business? What would your business look like in, a couple of months? Just generally thinking about what other marketing seeds you can start to sow for a more prosperous 2023. Also just asking yourself the question of, what do you currently do in your marketing and sales process that maybe you can add a bit more personalization into? Happy to have a chat about that as well if you're sort of stuck on ideas. And then the last one is, who in your business is the biggest blockage? And depending on how you've answered that question, what needs to happen, or who can you partner with to maybe release that flow?
If anyone wants to, we have got digital strategy scorecard. This is our digital strategy scorecard. We'll follow up with an email just with a link to this. 2023, if anyone wants to unpack their digital strategy, we have a process called Web Strategy Workshop. This lovely man is Peter Carter, and he will unpack your business, the outcomes that you're looking to achieve, and give you a pathway to do that. So that is a really informative, helpful workshop that you may consider if you want to improve your digital in 2023. Carla, any other sort of parting words of wisdom or advice?
Yeah, like John said, just going through the process this time of year of sort of stopping, taking a breath, looking back at what you sort of did in 2022. There's always a bunch of learnings that come from that. So just really recommend that everyone does that too.